ఇంకో ఆస్ట్రాయిడ్ మన మీద దాడి చేయబోతోంది.
2 రోజుల క్రితం పడిన ఆస్ట్రాయిడ్ సైజ్ 8 చదరపు అడుగులు. దీని సైజ్ 60 కిలోమీటర్ల చదరపు అడుగులు. ఇండియా మ్యాప్ ని ఇది మార్చేస్తుంది.
దీన్ని బ్లాస్ట్ చేయడానికి కనీసం 200 కిలోటన్ న్యూక్లియర్ మిసైల్ కావాల్సి వస్తుంది.
ఆ స్పేస్ స్టేషన్ లో ఉన్న ఓ సెక్యూర్డ్ వాల్ట్ లోనే ఆ మిసైల్ ఉంది.
వాళ్లతో
Hey Squeaks, what are you looking at? Oh, it looks like Squeaks noticed an interesting light moving across the night sky, and he's trying to figure out what it is. You know, I don't think that's a meteor, and I don't think it's an airplane either. It's moving very steadily in a straight line across the sky, and it's not twinkling or blinking. That means it's probably a satellite. A satellite is something that orbits or goes around a planet or star, and there are lots of different types. Some natural things are satellites, like the moon, because it goes around the Earth. But usually when people talk about satellites, they mean the ones that were made by people and launched into space. They're sort of like spaceships moving around the Earth, and they're usually made up of a computer along with solar panels to get power from the sun. Sometimes they also have cameras or other scientific tools to help them gather information. People sent our very first satellite into space in the year 1957. It was called Sputnik, and it was only about the size of a beach ball. These days, there are more than 2,000 satellites up there. I know! It's hard to even imagine so many things moving around the planet at the same time, but they have all kinds of different jobs. Some satellites help us study the Earth. For example, they can take pictures or collect data about the Earth's surface. That way, scientists can learn more about things like the temperature of the oceans and see what's happening to the glaciers and other types of ice all over the world. Satellites can also monitor the weather, which meteorologists, the scientists who study weather, use to learn about big storms like hurricanes. But scientists aren't the only people who use satellites. Turns out that you and me and even Squeaks benefit from using satellites all the time. Whenever you use the map on a phone or in a car to go somewhere, it's using satellites in space to figure out where you are so it can tell you where to go. Some types of TVs and phones also use satellites because sometimes it can be easier to send information to faraway places on Earth if you use a satellite as the messenger. With satellite TV, for example, the signals from all the channels get sent to a satellite, which then sends the signals back down to lots of people's houses and their TVs. The biggest satellite orbiting our planet is the International Space Station. It's as big as a football or soccer field, and people actually live on it. There are usually 6 astronauts on the space station at a time, and most of them stay there for about 6 months. When they're floating around on the space station, they can do all kinds of cool science experiments that they couldn't do here on Earth. And Squeaks, I think that's what you saw moving across the sky, the International Space Station. You can usually see the space station on a clear night if it's flying over where you live not long after the sun goes down. It'll look like a little point of light moving in a steady straight line all the way.
India has produced 4 astronauts till now. These astronauts are: number 1. Kalpana Chawla was an Indo-American astronaut and the first woman of Indian origin in space. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997 as a mission specialist and primary robotic arm operator. In 2003, Chawla was one of the 7 crew members killed in the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster. Kalpana Chawla was born on March 17, 1962 at Karnal, Punjab, India, now in Haryana, India. Chawla was the first Indian-born woman to fly in space. Chawla died in the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, which occurred on February 1, 2003, when the Columbia disintegrated over Texas during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, with the death of all of 7 crew members. Number 2. Sharma was the first Indian to travel in space. Rakesh Sharma was born on January 13, 1949 in Paichala, Punjab, India. In 1984, he became the first citizen of India to go into space when he flew aboard the Soviet rocket Soyuz T-11 blasted off from Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic on the 2nd of April 1984. He retired with the rank of wing commander. He joined the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in 1987 and served as chief test pilot in the HAL Nashik division until 1992, before moving on to Bangalore to work as the chief test pilot of HAL. Number 3. Sunita Williams, born September 19, 1965, is an American astronaut and United States Navy officer of Indian-Slovenian descent. She holds the records for total spacewalks by a woman and most spacewalk time for a woman. Williams was assigned to the International Space Station as a member of Expedition 14 and Expedition 15. In 2012, she served as a flight engineer on Expedition 32 and then commander of Expedition 33. Williams began her astronaut candidate training at the Johnson Space Center in August 1998. STS-116, Expeditions 32 and 33 and Expeditions 14 and 15 were her space missions. Number 4. Ravish Malhotra, born December 25, 1943 in Lahore, now in present-day Pakistan, is a retired Air Commodore of the Indian Air Force. He was an Air Force test pilot stationed at the Test Center in Bangalore. He was also the air officer commanding of Hindon Air Force Station near Delhi. In 1982, he was chosen to train for spaceflight in the Soviet Union's Inter-Cosmos program. Malhotra served as backup for Rakesh Sharma on the Soyuz T-11 mission, which launched the first Indian into space, but never went to space himself. Malhotra was awarded the Kirti Chakra in 1984. Please comment about them in our video. Do subscribe this channel for more updates.